Suitable shelter is commonly accepted as a basic human need. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the United Nations in 1948, declared that everyone has the right to an adequate standard of living, including satisfactory housing. Indeed, everyone needs a decent home. Is the Ministry of Housing a part of this international commitment? Is Claremont Heights a symbol of the ministry's commitment to resolve the global housing crisis? Therefore, the foremost concerns regarding Claremont Heights are: have the Ministry of Housing begun providing houses for the commercial breeding of dangerous dogs in a residential area? Some may object to the descriptive term dangerous, as they would argue that no dogs are born dangerous, but how they are actually trained to react in certain situations. I am no dog expert, but from my own experience, I have had dogs which strangers have classified as bad because of how the dogs respond to them, and these dogs were never trained. These dogs are also classified as common, or in Jamaican terms, mongrel dog. From observation, dogs' natural instincts are usually suppressed by their owners and become evident around strangers. Wild beasts have been domesticated, such as lions, tigers, bears, and monkeys. But the fact that an animal is domesticated does not mean it is not dangerous. Just surf the internet and you will see how a domesticated wild beast has suddenly become dangerous, much to the chagrin of its owner. Man, with all his powers of reasoning and claim to be made in God's image, can and have been classified as dangerous. Certain dogs are specifically bred to be used by security firms, police officers, and the army. These dogs are the ones classified as dangerous in these two-part series. So what is the objective of the Ministry of Housing when it provided the scheme? Is the scheme in a commercial or residential zone? Were the homes provided for commercial or residential purposes? Is the scheme a free-for-all in that you're free to do what you want because the scheme is not governed by any bylaws? Is it one of those areas for which the government has no control? This is the general layout of the lots that are immediately affected by the dog breeding activity. The average lot size is approximately 378 square meters. Do you know how small that is? It means if you raise your voice high enough without shouting, you can be heard by any passerby on the street or next door. The size of a lot usually dictates the nature of a business that is conducted on such a lot. There are many office businesses that started in the front bedroom of a house and grew to proportional size that required relocating. However, a business that involves large amount of livestock, excessive noise and/or sounds, high volume traffic, generation of irritating olfactory sensors, the generation of high volume of fecal waste, and the spreading of fleas and ticks would dictate having an area that would not rob anyone of their basic fundamental rights, especially if the CEO of such a business was a considerate, good citizen and had noble intentions. Migraine is more than just a headache. It is a severe form of headache that develops in a throbbing pain, mostly on one side of the head, and spreads to the neck and shoulders. Studies reveal that young people and women are the key sufferers of migraine. Because of its intense pain, the daily activities of the sufferer is usually impaired. Associated with migraine are nausea, vomiting, hypersensitivity to bright light, sounds, smell, etc. Specific situations provoke a migraine attack. These specific situations are called triggers. Different people are affected by different triggers, such as too little sleep, too much sleep, the menstrual cycle, skipping a meal, stress, eating certain foods or having certain drinks. During menopause, migraine usually increases. Each person needs to know their own trigger, but a regular lifestyle is crucial to minimize the effect. So regular meals, sleep, and movement are needed. Stress must be avoided or minimized as much as possible. So imagine having this commercial dog breeding operation in a residential area next door to a migraine sufferer who may just be a law-abiding taxpayer. Please note this video only deals with hearing loss due to sound, not other factors such as hereditary, age, and specific illnesses. Noise is a part of our daily life and strains our sense of hearing. Much research and documentation is done with on-the-job hearing, and very little is done on non-occupational hearing loss. First world countries recognize the need for laws governing noise sounds of various types, not only in relation to entertainment, manufacturing, and construction, but also in residential communities. In Jamaica, however, a developing country, have the health authorities adequately addressed the issue of hearing loss generated by external sources outside of entertainment? Does the Noise Abatement Act only apply to entertainment? Is it only in the manufacturing or construction industry under health and safety standards that the issue of protecting your hearing is addressed? What about health and safety standards designed to protect your hearing in the community? Did you know that prolonged exposure of any noise above 80 decibels may cause gradual hearing loss? This is where the OSHA safety regulation begins. Do you find that while sleeping or trying to sleep, the sound of a mosquito is extremely annoying? Yet the mosquito generates a 20 decibel noise level. Prolonged exposure to the annoying mosquito will not deaf you. Normal conversation takes place at 60 decibel. A lawnmower may generate up to 90 decibel of noise. If you increase the volume of your television up to a bar of say 50, you may have entered into the stereo range of 120 decibels. Regular exposure of more than 1 minute of 110 decibel risk permanent hearing loss. Normal television volume at 15 bars approximate to normal human conversation of 60 decibel. The screaming dogs of Lot 299 generate a sound equivalent to 50 bars on the television volume. That is more than tripling the normal conversation on the television. How much is this on the decibel scale? Notice the symbols S, ML, MO, DP, PM, and PT. Let's see what they mean. What is the decibel level of a barking dog or group of dogs? Here is an interesting fact. But here are my top 7 facts about hearing impairment, irrespective of if it is on the job or not. 1. Hearing impairment caused from noise is irreversible in 90 cases studied. 2. Very tiny and very sensitive structures in the air gets damaged every time they are pounded by a loud noise. The cells die and never grow back. 3. The damage is not seen on the outside of your ear, it is inside. 4. Hearing loss is not just about the volume at which you hear, but also the clarity of what you hear. 5. The process is slow and takes years of exposure before you realize the effects. 6. In the social setting, hearing loss can be very embarrassing. And 7. Hearing loss is preventable. Fact number 4 dispels the myth that if you lose your hearing, you tend to hear things softer. That is not necessarily the case. Words are made up of letters that are spoken at various frequency. Hearing loss may result in your inability to hear certain frequencies even though you may hear at the same volume. Letters such as S, K, T, TH, CH, and P are high-frequency letters, mainly consonants. You may lose your ability to hear these high-frequency letters. You may hear the person just fine, but have no clue as to what they said, especially if you have no visual cues. For example, if your back is turned or you're talking on the phone, etc. So if a 20 decibel mosquito is annoying or a nuisance, what is this? Imagine being exposed to this for years by a malicious commercial dog breeder. Simply put, sleep is your God-given right to good health. It is the body's natural maintenance, building, and repair system. It is that period of time the body's cellular, medical, engineering, and construction teams come out to build, repair, fix, replace, strengthen, or remove what was damaged or weakened. This maintenance work requires an average of 8 hours in adults and up to 16 hours in babies. Most source material agree that these are the effect of lack of or repeated disturbance of sleep. Imagine even premature death, rapid aging. So, not only should the dog breeder rape us of our man-made constitutional rights, he must rob us of our God-given rights to good health as well. Not only are the eggs and larvae of fleas blown easily by the wind, They have strongly developed legs that permit them to jump up to 100 times of their own body length, 8 inches vertically and 15 inches horizontally. That is the equivalent of a human jumping the length of 3 football fields. The flea goes through egg, larva, pupa, and adult stages. In the home, if you're infested, 50% of the infestation is attributed to eggs, 35% is attributed to larvae, 10% is attributed to pupa, and 5% to adults. Now, while the life cycle of the flea has some interesting facts, the key concern is control during an infestation. The egg, larva, and adult stages can be controlled by heat, desiccation, humidity, and chemicals, but the most troublesome stage is the cocoon or pupa stage. The cocoon is a high security housing which most source material agree is impenetrable by known chemicals. Control can only take place after the adult emerges. Another fact about the cocoon or pupa stage is that even if the pre-emergent adult is ready, they all do not emerge at the same time. Some form of communication exists among the pupa and the emergence is staggered. This appears to be a survival mechanism. If not removed, they permanently remain on the host. If not killed prematurely, the adult flea can live up to 4 months. You might think that a pet kept entirely indoors would be at no risk of catching fleas. But don't forget that it only takes a visit from one untreated animal to trigger an infestation in your home. So even housebound pets may require flea control. You are in a constant battle with fleas when you do not own either a dog or a cat. The dog business attracts various types of dogs all over the place. Every time there is a visit to the dog business, these stray dogs are mobilized into action. Look at their condition. They're full of fleas, mangy, and hairless. Watch them scratching themselves in front of my property. What does the Public Health Nuisance Act has to say about flea infestation? How does the Gleaner article Dogs Gone Wild shed some light on the corruption associated with this dog business as it relates to Nuisance and the Parish Council and Health Department? What does history reveal about criminals, gang stalkers using sleep deprivation tactics? What factors expose this commercial dog breeding activity as cover for an extortion racket? Please join me in the continuation of this in Part 2, Nuisance versus the Constitution.